We don't have like a Discord stream. Oh, there we did. Wonderful. It's like the reverse of a curse. It's a blessing. There we go. Oh, let me grab my water in my bag. Oh, your mic is being very silly right now. It sounds like you're on the other side of your room.
Hold on. Am I here now?
Yes. Oh, never mind. You're not here anymore.
Where do I keep going?
I don't know. Because I had no problems with your microphone yesterday.
I've never had problems with my microphone either.
I mean, that when you said that there, that sounded fine.
We do a little trolling.
Oh, we'll just work with it and see what happens. I'll just go when the timer reaches 0.
I'm fairly confident we're already audible, Teezel. You just set up every single viewer could already hear.
Oh, what?
So, hello everybody. Welcome to yet another match of Jay's Wonky event. We're going to be waiting another about 40 seconds before we can get this match underway. It's going to be very exciting though. My name's Albionthegreat and I'll be commentating alongside Teezel.
Hello. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here in silence for the next 27 seconds.
I will be doing the same.
Alright, there we go. The timer has reached 0. The match is upon us. We're back again for another round of 32 match for JOKE3. This time XK versus Delta. Once again, another matchup where we have a wonky veteran versus a newcomer. But this time the newcomer is the higher seed, which is a bit more of an uncommon format that we've been seeing. I cannot remember their seeds. I am joking already. You have their seeds, right? Because I am not alone, and I'm of course joined by Albion.
Of course. We have seed number 14, XK from Indonesia, a veteran in the taiko scene, facing off against Delta, who is going to be our seed number 19, from the United States, a veteran within Mania.
Yeah, there we go. So this is a pretty good matchup, decently close in that seeding, and I don't know, both of these players are pretty well known within their respective game modes. They have a lot of skill, they have a lot of time, they have a lot of dedication, and here they are trying to put that forward into one key. Pretty much the greatest combination you can have between Mania and Taiko. So having a Mania player and a Taiko player 1v1ing each other, both being fairly similar skill levels as well, it's going to make for a great match.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think we already have our first warm-up selected though. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be from JOKE3, one of the round of 32 maps in JOKE3. Blankfield have ghosts, I think.
Okay. So I believe that's a bit more of like a speed kind of map. It's been a while.
There
Okay,
we go.
Yeah. It's a
there we go.
250 BPM. This coming from the round of 32 last year. So decently similar kind of difficulty. We have XK playing with hidden, which you can do for some reason. I don't know why anyone would choose to do that, but here we go.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Delta also played in Joke last year, so might have some experience here on this map, which we can see. They're still on that full combo. XK has unfortunately found a combo break, finds one again, so that does help here.
Yeah, Delta was one of the players that achieved 7th to 8th place, if I remember correctly, in JOKE3. So they are a very good player. They actually knocked me out of that position on the tiebreaker, and I will never forgive them. So I'm back here once again for revenge. So enacting that revenge would be easier if they fall down into the loser's bracket and XK takes the win. But I'll take anything.
So something interesting to note here is that Delta, in the round of 32 match that they played against Freebird, they also played this exact map and they only managed to get 870k. So we see improvement here on the map that's not even part of the map pool, that they didn't even have to practice, yet they're already performing better than they were performing last year.
You just can't teach that skill. Just born with it. The natural one-key ability is taken over.
Yeah, now we're going to see XK's warm-up coming in. I'm curious to what we can see here. Are we also going to see a previous last year round of 32 map, or is it going to be something completely different?
No idea. I feel like it would probably be better for the players to kind of, stick with something a bit more simple. Probably around a 32, maybe around a 16 style map. No point in overcomplicating things, but, it's a warm-up. Players have got to do whatever they need to do to be warm, to be prepared for the match. And this is definitely one where the players want to be prepared. I can pretty much guarantee they've probably been practicing before the lobby opened up.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to get a map from just the exact same map pool pack. Also, round of 32, part 2. In this case, they will be playing Knife Party and Tomoretto Battle Sirens. Unfortunately, I don't see it on stream currently, but they are already playing it. So we can maybe take a look at what they got last year, at least what Delta got last year, if they played it.
Yeah, so this map was voted as kind of one of the best maps from this pool specifically, and this is one of the ones that made it into the best of Joke 1 and 2 pack. The map itself doesn't necessarily do anything too crazy. It does have that slowdown stream at the end of the map, but just kind of like your kind of basic case of early stage hybrid.
Unfortunately, I don't think Delta played this last year in their match. Well, last year. When we say last year, we mean 2 years ago in the previous edition of Joke. I keep forgetting we had a year break. We've not had Joke happening last year.
Nah, just say last year. Everyone knows what you mean.
True. Delta not able to perform as well as they did on the previous map, finding multiple misses. Could be an indication of the map in the match to come.
Perhaps. Interesting that XK is once again adopting the use of hidden for this one. I don't know if they're just doing that on the warm-ups to perhaps hide their true ability, or maybe they're just one of those rare instances where they just prefer playing with hidden. Oh, XK hitting the slowdown stream with hidden. Delta not quite making it out of that with the combo. And XK taking the victory thanks to that. But that was just the warm-ups after all. Now it's time to get into the rolls and where it really matters. Delta getting blown out the water by XK's 91 points to 29.
What a rule. What a rule. Yeah, there's no contest there. XK will be winning that rule. That does mean they will be going to ban. No, wait. That means that Delta will be banning first. XK getting the second ban and the first pick of the match. What are your predictions here for the ban?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if you want to be very traditional, Delta probably ban a Rice, XK probably ban an LN, just because of the skill sets that they'll have just from their expertise in their own game modes. But it looks like Delta's going to be banning Speed, actually, which is quite an interesting kind of take to have, especially after the Speed warm-up that we just had on this level of difficulty as well. And Delta was the one to win that, I believe.
Yeah, but that was a map that Delta already played previously. A map that Delta might have been a bit more comfortable on than XK, who might not have really touched that map. Who knows?
Yeah.
On the other hand, the patterning in A+ does, in my opinion, favor XK in this situation. It being Rice, mostly Rice, and having fairly tricky patterns sometimes, speedy patterns. I think XK would have done very well on that map. We will see a hybrid coming out for the ban for XK. Makes sense, right? We've seen that in the traditional sense. That's probably a very, very strong ban for XK.
And adopting to go with Rice 1 immediately, going with your main kind of level of consistency, not having to worry about those LN releases. Great first pick from XK, especially with the background of being a Taiko player going against the Mania player.
No, I think this is a perfect pick. It is, well, maybe not the best pick, but it's definitely one of the absolute best picks that XK could have gone for. It will be interesting to see if Delta can face off against XK on this, or if this is just going to be a landslide victory for XK. It might even be very, very close.
Yeah, it's like Delta should theoretically be doing very good on this. Like, he can perform very well on later stage pulls as well. So these pulls shouldn't be too difficult. I feel like it's more just going to come down to who can kind of maintain the better ratio. And so far right off the bat, that's going to be XK. Delta picking up a couple of grades.
Yeah, I think but Delta also picked up multiple grades there. Both days finding those 200s here. That's not going to be very favorable, but in general, XK able to be a bit more consistent, at least through the opening section.
Yeah, things looking pretty good for XK on their own pick so far. A score difference of only around 3,000 though isn't a comfortable one.
No, but we can definitely see that XK is just more consistent and just better able to act these patterns. The accuracy for Delta struggling, and even a miss coming in, dropping from the low 99% to a high 97%. That's going to give a massive boost to the score of XK. 40,000 point difference, and there's a miss coming in from XK.
Oh, that an even bigger miss. The score lead switches over in favor of Delta.
That was a dirty miss. That was not just 3-4 notes that didn't go all that well. That was dirty. So much accuracy lost.
Yeah, the accuracy difference being almost a whole %. Score difference of around 20k. It is still possible for Delta to lose this, but as we come towards the outro, that's looking less and less likely.
I would have expected the accuracy to be in the advantage of XK, but that miss seals the deal. Delta will be taking the first point. It's a break point nonetheless. Heading into their own pick now, they can build a bit of a lead here.
You talk about the accuracy, but if we take a look at the ratios, XK's was significantly better than Delta's. Those misses really being the downfall. See, that dip in the graph is just a chasm compared to Delta's dip. It's more of a pothole.
Where Delta has a valley, yeah, XK has just. Man, that is incredible. Ghost tapping was a mistake we see from XK. Might just be a little bit of an error there, thinking that it would help them, but it just messed them up, made
Yeah,
them
that's
get
one
those
thing you've got to
misses.
be careful with. In one key, you know, getting that sort of lock in there, it's pretty easy to kind of bring about, especially when the OD is decently low. You know, that map was OD was 6 or 7. It's a relatively low OD.
But we move on. We're gonna get to the SV now. Delta picking into the SV. That's interesting. I mean, it does kind of make sense, you know, someone who is more well versed within Mania to pick for the SV, something that they're probably more confident on and comfortable with. XK, the SV and Taiko is very, very different. So this might have been a bit of something to learn, but at the same time, this is very, very side readable.
Absolutely. Just give this even just giving this 1 or 2 attempts, and you can pretty much figure out how the entire map flows.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
I
lot
don't
of
think that this style of SV is too difficult for either of these players. Like, they've been around in the rhythm game scene long enough to kind of have that understanding of just listening to the rhythm, getting a feel for it.
yeah, there's no memorization here, no teleports, no shenanigans with bar lines. It's just some swinging rhythm and swinging map.
I feel like the hardest part about this SV map is the transition from the longer LN into the short stream afterwards. I feel like sometimes with the way the notes are moving, it can be a bit difficult to kind of understand exactly when you need to start this mini stream, those ones. And it can be not too difficult to pick up. You know, you drop your ratio, maybe even pick up a couple of 200s. But overall, not terribly difficult. We're still seeing 2 full combos, but Delta's the one in the lead, building it up to around 9,000 points.
Yeah, XK struggling to maintain that accuracy, dropping down to 98% now. Oh, and a
there's a
miss
miss.
coming out. That is going to hurt them a lot here. Delta seems confident on this map.
Yeah, by the looks of it, I haven't seen a single 200 come out from Delta. Could still be on that V1 double S.
I'm fairly confident I did see a 200 from Delta, but it was only a single 200, I think, in a stream of a couple of perfects, where they didn't quite have the rhythm down. But nearing the end of the map, only about 20 nodes left now. This is going to be a point for Delta here. 2-0 in the match.
Yeah, looking good. And once again in the ratio, the players are pretty like similar. Like XK actually has more rainbows, but the rest of the notes kind of going off into other directions. The misses, 1 bad, 5 goods, 6 greats. Compared to Delta, it's just really clean 3 greats and everything else being perfect.
Yeah, we see good ratio coming out for XK. We kind of did expect to see that, but it's also about combo. Even though Mania is not as much of a combo game as the other game modes, you will still want to hold combo, especially on maps that are only 2.5 minutes long, in one key, where you don't have hundreds and hundreds of nodes to play.
Yeah, this is one of the maps with the largest combo potentials in this pool, just due to it being the stream map. There's pretty much notes consistently throughout the entire map.
If you're rooting for XK here, you will want them to take this map, bring at least the scoreline a bit closer, because being 2-0 down is not a good point to be in.
Yeah, the risk of that match point, pretty scary for XK already. That's the worst thing about these matches only being first to 4. It's so short. Like, single mistakes just cascade so greatly in that sense.
Can we
But
just quickly take a look at that accuracy? 100% still. XK. How are you gonna just SS this? V2 SS? No, there's no way, right?
That would be pretty epic. I mean, okay, not quite.
But still, that's just a single. That was just a single 300. Not even multiple. They've just been going so incredibly well. 99.99% still.
Yeah,
they have to hold.
They absolutely have to, yeah. Delta is not far behind at all, only a couple of thousand points behind, holding onto that full combo just as strongly.
So far, the misses have decided everything. If we are not going to see any misses here, then XK is looking strong to take the point, to bring the scoreline back to 2-1. We're only halfway though. There's still 500 nodes left in this map.
Score lead has increased up to almost 5,000 now. Delta still holding an incredibly good score, but just picking up way more perfects compared to XK.
Yeah, especially this section, it's just about consistency, being able to keep that rhythm, hold that rhythm, and Delta struggling to keep it a little bit. Hitting a bit too late, a little bit too early at times, but XK, the consistency is just marvelous, I'd say.
And that's one way you could definitely put it, I'd say. Just gotta hold it for this outro now.
That has to be like 7 perfects, right? 6 perfects, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely a single-digit amount. Never mind, it's 15.
It's 15. Still though, 999. Yeah. It's a 999K.
We haven't been seeing many 999s so far this week, so having just that one there is pretty significant. Let's take a look. So far, we have only had one other 999. Wait, let me check. That's oh, it's still second place on the leaderboard for the map, but not by far. The only other 999 has been done by HZ404 with 999391.
Close. Very, very close.
But now that's really great for it. Yeah, it's really great for XK, preventing Delta from securing the match point already. Has the point on the board, and it's time to turn things around. And ideally, take this hybrid 2 pick off of Delta, return the breakpoint back to his favor, and even out the playing field again.
Yeah,
hybrid is probably a bit scary though, because that was
both players seem to be avoiding the LN though. Like, why have we not seen a single LN yet? I mean, we know that Delta, coming from Mania, might have, you know, the better skill set when it comes to LN, but at the same time, they kind of bombed the qualifier there, getting only seed number 30. While XK played a lot better on the LN, but might just be a bit worried that if they pick into it, that Delta's going to take it.
Let me have a quick look.
So far, if XK can hold their consistency, hold the combo, they can take the point. But Delta has been managing to hold that combo so far a lot better.
Yeah, having those LN releases is going to be really critical. for XK here. XK has showcased on pretty much every map so far that he can maintain a higher ratio than Delta. He also just needs to maintain the combo though as well. And this map is not easy for ratio or combo. Delta's picking up a couple more greats in this first part of the map, giving XK a good lead coming to the stream section. XK, I believe, hitting the entire thing perfectly, but Delta is still not far behind.
And both players have been dropping a couple of grades every here and there. We see the score flickering, going from one side to the other almost every 2 notes. The accuracy, holding that accuracy is so incredibly difficult with all of these long notes. They differ in length, different releases, and since we're playing on Score V2, those releases are very important as well.
The score is constantly flickering between the two players. Their accuracies are pretty much tying. And this is the hardest section of the map in my opinion. You absolutely have to hold the combo in these 1-6 bursts. The score is still flickering between the two players.
But XK does have the higher combo. Not the higher combo, not the higher accuracy.
Delta misses though.
0.3% now. Yeah, that's going to do it. The nail has been put into the coffin. And
There we go,
XK
XK's
takes
done
a
it.
second point. We're tied up.
Yeah, he's earned back the break point that he's lost.
This time it was a miss from Delta.
Crazy stuff going on in this match.
Are we going to go back to the Rise now, or are we going to see an LN coming out? Does
I
XK
imagine
take the risk here?
I imagine probably Rice. Like, because the biggest thing about Rice 2 is the doublets. XK FC'd the 1-6 bursts. Delta didn't.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we're 100% going to see one of the LNs being played in this match. All right, so you might just want to be like,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna pick this LN because I know I'm comfortable on it, and then leave my opponent to choose whether they want to go for LN as well, or they pick the Rice.
I feel like in the
Could be
case
the
of
strategy.
XK though, I was gonna say I feel like in the case of like XK probably wants to guarantee getting the Rice pick in, but decides to go for LN1, the easier of the 2 LN maps. The release timings are a lot more simple, not quite as varied throughout the map.
I think this is a great choice. Maybe a bit of a curveball to throw at Delta as well.
Yeah. When you're at this stage in such a small map pool as well, the risks have to start coming out eventually when you're already tied up 2-2. But either way, whoever wins this point is going to have the advantage of the match point and the opportunity to take the victory on the next map.
This map could decide everything. It could just put the momentum in your favor, give you that small edge. And so far, XK with the higher accuracy has taken the lead, but anything's still possible. We're still at the start of the map. The point difference being only a couple 100 points here.
Yeah, scores flickering between the two players, looking very confident on these short LNs.
XK showing they're not afraid of playing LN. They're holding so incredibly well, still at a 99.9% AC. Delta is struggling a little bit more on the accuracy department. I feel like we're going to need to see a miss here from XK for Delta to take this point.
Well, if you remember anything about this map, There's a bit of a silly stream towards the end. That could change everything.
We
had a similar kind of situation in the qualifiers, LN. But we also have this section of really short LNs. Both players picking up, dropping a lot of rainbows on it. We also have these tighter releases as well between the notes. And here it is. Oh, both players are still so close. Alright, we have a section very similar to the previous ones. XK managing to build a bit of a better lead now as Della picks up, just less rainbows in general. Both players still in the full combo.
Yeah, but 5,000 points difference, that's going to be multiple 200s, multiple greats, hundreds, maybe even a couple. That's quite insurmountable, especially this late into the map. There has to be a miss right now, but there's not going to be. XK secures a third point, being 2-0 down, brings it all the way back to 3-2.
Yeah, really strong performance, and that gives XK the match point here. All they've got to do is win Delta's next pick, and they take the victory 4-2. But if Delta wins their own pick here on either Rice 2 or LN 2, we'll be going to tiebreaker. We've seen a couple of tiebreakers so far. That's the question, isn't it?
Like, we have the Rice still left. If you're Delta, I think they banned the other Rice, right? So
no, they were both picked by XK.
It was picked by XK. You're right. So does Delta go for Rice, which was won by XK? Oh no, that was won by Delta, right? That was the joke at the start.
No, I would say LN 2. Like, the Rice one was just kind of chokes from both players. I think the LN makes more sense here because the Rice 2, it's really short, really, really dependent on ratio, and we've seen in pretty much every map, XK can outperform Delta on the ratio. When it comes to LN 2, yes, we did see XK just do better on that LN pick. However, that LN map is significantly more simplistic than this one. And when you go with a more complex LN map, I believe just having that mania background is probably going to help out Delta in this situation. Both players perform exactly the same on the intro stream. We have seen it catch out multiple players already, but not these two. They understand that they're in a match that is... They understand that they're in a match that is very close, very contested on who the winner could be. And so far, we're seeing things go in favor of Delta. XK picking up quite a few 200s on these LN endings. But with a miss from Delta. That's pretty tragic. But XK just dropping way too much accuracy to be able to take the lead.
Yeah, I can't believe that has to have been a clean miss from Delta. Yet another clean miss. How are they getting away with missing but keeping the lead? The accuracy, there's a whole point of difference between XK and Delta. XK finding so many 200s there in the opening. And Delta just needs to hold on. They need to keep that accuracy going. XK is slowly working their way back up, getting that accuracy back in form. And having reached 400 combo, the combo mark, this is looking so strong for them to take. Delta, those misses really hurting them.
Yeah, we've only got a quarter of the map left to go. Things are still close, but they are in favor of XK. He's gotten to the swing of everything. The accuracy is climbing. Really taking that combo advantage all the way up to 13,000. And this is the outro. Misses have to come from XK now for Delta to get to the tiebreaker. A miss is not going to be enough.
It would have to be dirty. A whole lot of combo just... the combo being broken and a lot of accuracy being lost, but it's not going to be happening. Delta, they were just slider breaks. They weren't even misses. That is so unfortunate. That does mean they were 2-0 up, but XK completes the comeback. Not quite a reverse sweep, but man, that's impressive.
Absolutely. Just a bit of a shaky start, and then really found his footing.
And that does mean that this match has finished now. That's it. XK
Yeah.
stays in the upper bracket. Delta, what an amazing showing from Delta here, but just couldn't quite do it. They won't be able to stay in the upper bracket. They'll be moving down to the lower bracket. Not sure who they're going to face, but both of these players are very exciting to watch.
I think that just kind of showcases just how crazy Joke is this year. Like, Delta got 7th to 8th place in JOKE3, and they're dropping down into the loser's bracket after one match in round of 32. If you told me that this was going to be, like, if you told me during JOKE2 that that was going to be the case in JOKE3, I wouldn't have believed you. But here we are. It's real. And XK is going to be the one to have caused that to happen, advancing on through the winner's bracket. Who will they be facing? Oh, right, XK is going up against an even bigger god in Taiko, HZ404, the only player so far to have beat his score in Rice 3.
Oh, that's going to be a banger. Holy
They're going to have
cow.
very similar skill sets going into each other. So practice is going to be really crucial for that match. So that should mean that Delta will be going against the Meme Thief XD, who is seeded 30th this time.
Yeah, I do not fancy the chances for the Meme Thief there. Delta had a very strong showing here. That's going to be an interesting match, though, nonetheless.
Definitely wouldn't count
for next
everything
week.
out, though.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting match next week, for sure. What about this week, though? I think we still have a couple of matches left to go. Which one is coming up right now? Let's take a look.
We have Silly Fangirl versus Dragon, the match that was supposed to happen at 16 UTC yesterday. But, you know, things happen. But here, yeah, so pretty crazy stuff. So yeah, Silly Fangirl is a player that has been playing in Joke for a while now as well, and once again performing incredibly well in previous years. Dragon, newcomer, but you know, we've very clearly seen with this matchup XK versus Delta, being the newcomer to Joke does not mean you cannot win. So even though it's big name, like a big, really big name in Mania versus someone that most people may not have heard of before, doesn't necessarily kind of already tell what story is going to unfold. So important that you come along and watch it, as long as the other remaining matches for this weekend. We have it 3 at 18 UTC. Don't know which one will be streamed, but it should be good either way. So make sure you're around for those. The conclusion of the round of 30 is rapidly approaching, and the formats for round of 16 are kind of forming very quickly as well. So might as well be around, see what the results are going to be, and look forward to next weekend.
Yeah,
So,
but that, I do
see
think
you
it's going
later
to be us for now. Yeah, see you in about 25 minutes for Silly Fangirl Dragon. It's going to be streamed here on the Drum Decimator Twitch channel. Don't go anywhere. Grab something to drink, grab a cup of tea or anything, maybe some cookies as well. And I'm not sure if there will be commentators, but we'll see you back in about 25 minutes. It's been nice casting here with you, Teezel. Thank you for joining me. This was absolutely amazing. Any last words before we wrap this up?
If you don't stream my match, I'm going to take Joke down with me.